What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm Andrew, this is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom. Today we're going to talk about near side underhooks to pass the half guard. I'm kind of under the impression that near side underhooks might be more powerful than far side underhooks. Maybe even offering us more options. It's not as common. It's certainly not taught as often. If you go into any gym around the world and someone's on top half guard and you say get an underhook, they're probably going to go for a far side underhook, not a near side underhook. With my MMA fighters, Billy Brand, Lake G, Jack Duffy, those guys, we've been talking quite a bit over the last several months about the near side underhook and what that can offer you. And so today I wanted to kind of convey some of those ideas for you guys and maybe give you more options, maybe more pressure, and some better and meaner techniques that you can do to pass the half guard. So we're going to look at 3 different options today. I've learned these through the years from various people. Paul Schreiner from Marcelo Garcia's gym taught me the skydiver pass, which we'll look at. I also learned from Sean Williams some of this stuff, and even Jean-Jacques Machado, some of these near side underhook options. So we're going to look at all these 3 things that can really help you guys, especially if you lose that far side underhook battle. Because again, that's what most gyms teach, that's what most gyms talk about, and we'll talk about why. But yeah, let's get right into it and give you guys some more techniques so you can start smashing people from top half. Let's get it. All right, so let's talk about what the purpose of the underhooks from top half guard are, right? If I'm fighting somebody and they're in bottom half, one of the main things I want to try to do is flatten them and get chest to chest. We've talked about that on this channel a lot. And most commonly, the way that's taught is through this far side underhook. So when we're here, I want to get this underhook so I can go chest to chest and flatten them, right? But that's just one way. Right? I can flatten people through the use of their chin and jaw with cross faces. I can flatten people through the use of their hips with certain motions with my legs. But I can also flatten people by taking away this arm, right? There's a lot of good ways to use attacks on this near arm and underhooks against this near arm that'll flatten people as well. Now, when people get their underhook, they usually want to build up to an elbow, start building height, start working me higher up their shoulder so they can start going around behind me, right? So it's very common that as soon as someone gets this underhook, they build up to this elbow, which gives me this big gap for me to shoot my near side underhook. If they're on their side, I don't necessarily need them to be up on their elbow. I can work this in without it, right? But it makes it a little easier, and it's most likely what they're going to look for, especially MMA. MMA, people are going to work their way to half guard, work their way to an underhook, and try to build up. So when we're here and they get that underhook and start building up, I shoot this near side underhook in. And now what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to go chest to chest, driving their back to the mat as I grab high on the back of the near shoulder, okay? And then I use my elbow flare to break them down. So I shoot this near underhook here and I flare the elbow. And that's what's going to work us chest to chest and flat, right? And now from here, there's a lot of really good options for passing. And it doesn't really matter what they do. They're going to think that they're doing decent work because they have that underhook, but really they're in a bad spot and they're flattened out. So let's look at a few options, right? After I shoot this near underhook, okay, getting chest to chest, grabbing the shoulder, flaring my elbow, what I'm going to look to do is take my head and hand out far so I can get my shoulder right under their chin. I want my near side shoulder to find their chin, so I don't keep my head close, because right here I can't even get my shoulder on her chin. I move my head out wide, look here. And now I can put my shoulder right under the chin here and put pressure on their head and neck. And now from here, what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to start walking their hips away from me. Okay? Hand out wide, head on the mat, and I have this near underhook, right? Keeping them very flat. She could not get off her back if she wanted to here, no matter how much she uses this underhook, okay? Now that I have her knees and hips pointed away and I have her flat on her back, it's really easy to take this hand, pushing the leg and finding our 3/4 mount position. They're probably gonna trap my foot pretty tight here. So what I like to do is go straight into shoelace method, extend out, and find the mount. Now I have a really good exposed elbow. I can get to work here, arm triangles, arm bars, and all sorts of good stuff, right? Okay, so I want you guys to see what my hand and head are doing in this scenario. She comes up for that underhook. I'm diving this underhook in, getting chest to chest. I'm reaching for the shoulder, and then I'm flaring my elbow. Here. That's what's breaking them down. Here. And now I take my hand and head out wide and put my shoulder right underneath their chin and neck. And I'm here. All right, really good and balanced. Okay. I like to keep this knee close to the hip so they can't just pummel their leg out and go to full guard. Right? That would be counterproductive. So I'm keeping this kind of asymmetrical hip scenario with my left hip dropped, keeping my left knee tucked into their hip in fundamental starting position so I can manage their bottom leg so they can't get back to full guard. So here, near side underhook, okay, going out wide, okay, and my knee's pinching. So if she tries to pull that right leg out, it's just not going to happen. And now look, I walk their hips here. And I don't really care how hard she tries to hold on to my leg here with her legs. It's going to be really easy to go here and pop that knee out. Once the knee is out, I like to switch sides so that I can go shoelace method and expose her hips and find my mount position. Now I have an exposed elbow that I can pretty easily get to work on, right? All right, so that last motion that we just looked at is probably my most common way of dealing with the near side underhook, especially because for MMA, once I get this here and I flatten people out, I can throw little punches here, and I like that because that gets them worried, and they usually bring this hand to defend, and so now I can get double unders and work really good passing sequences. So that's most commonly what I do, right? But sometimes when I go here, she gets her underhook, I dive under, grabbing the shoulder, flaring here. Sometimes I don't need to do all that. Sometimes I can go right into a nice knee cut. It's a wrong-sided knee cut. Usually you would knee cut this way, but I don't have the far underhook. If you're gonna knee cut, you always need an underhook on the opposite side you're knee cutting to. So if I'm knee cutting to my left, I need a right underhook. If I'm knee cutting to my right, I need a left underhook. So I'm gonna knee cut the wrong way across the body. So here, she comes up, I'm diving in on my near underhook here, bringing my head forward, and I'm going to lift my hips so I can cut this knee across. I'm going to drive my knee to the mat, and now I can kick against her legs to draw out my right leg. And now here, I can come right back to mount. That's strong. And I can also push the legs away, dropping myself into side control, and work myself into a tight pin here in side control. Depending on the scenario, are we in MMA, pure jiu-jitsu, what this person likes to do, that'll determine which way I go. That was loud. That'll determine whether I go mount, side control, or what I do from there. I prefer side control over mount in a lot of scenarios, most scenarios, so I'll probably go to side control regardless of what we're doing. but some people prefer mount. So you have both options there. Let's look at that from the other side. All right, so we're here in half guard. She starts building up on an underhook. I'm diving here. Again, flaring my elbow, taking everything through. And now I'm gonna work myself a little bit high and my hips come up so I can cut this knee across here. And now I use this foot, my left foot, to kick against her legs as I draw my right foot out like I'm pulling a sword out of a sheath or stepping out of a tire here. And now I can kick these away, find my side control, or turn your knees back towards me, or I can work myself right back up into mount position. Either option is really powerful. It's totally up to you what you want to do in that moment, but both really good options. All right, so let's look at the last option. I learned this as the skydiver pass, because it looks kind of like you're floating and skydiving, and there's a few variations of doing the skydiver. One of them I can do from me having the far side underhook and laying down on their near side arm, and the other one I can do where I have the near side underhook and she has the far side underhook. They're both very similar variations of each other. So she's gonna build up to her underhook. I'm diving here, playing my near side underhook and working the elbow open. Now I'm gonna work my hand really far and pull my hips to that side. So I'm like laying on her, right? And this might seem like she can turn me or roll me, but because of this hand post, she can't actually move me. The only thing she might be able to do is pull her right leg in, knee to her chest, and start playing close guard, right? But I would have to be asleep at the wheel for that. I just keep this pinched. That's not gonna happen, right? So now what I'm gonna look to do, because their legs are probably gonna be tight around my trapped leg, is I wanna start hooking her legs and separating them. So I look to kick the leg out, and then I look to hook it here. And now I'm separating legs. She still has her left leg around my right leg, so I'm gonna walk that leg forward and peel her leg, because my hip is laying on her thigh. She can't track that, right? So I'm extending, and now I bring my foot over her foot, knee over her knee, and I find a really good mount scenario, again, with an exposed elbow. All right, let's see that from the other side. All right, so again, she's gonna come up on her underhook. I'm diving near side underhook, reaching for that near shoulder, driving chest to chest and flaring my elbow. And now here, I'm gonna reach out wide and walk my hips over the top of her here, right? Really pinning my hips on her bottom leg, right? And I'm out wide, so if she tried to turn me or push me, she feels like 1,000,000 pounds is on her, right? And now again, I'm gonna look to push and hook here, right? And now because I'm laying on her leg, if I walk this foot forward, she can't follow. Now I can go foot over foot, knee over knee, tracking, and manage my mount position. Very, very tight, very smooth transition to the mount. All right, there you have it, guys. A few ideas, a few options around using the near side underhook when you're playing top half guard. I promise you, if the person you're rolling with has not had experience with someone playing near side underhooks, even if they're very good, even if they're good black belts, right? If you play that near side underhook against them, they're gonna think in their head that they can beat it with a far side underhook, and they're gonna be, in the moment, their brain is gonna go through like a backflip. Like, I have the far side underhook, why can't I move them? Why are they so heavy? Why is my back flat? That's gonna happen. They're gonna go through like almost a panic, right? It's a very, very strong position, the near side underhook. Having both is good too. Like, there's ways to work into both. And far side underhooks is a really good position as well. But again, 100% of gyms around the world teach the importance of the far side underhook. So everybody, when they're on bottom, is gonna be worried about that far side, top side underhook. So it's really heavily on their mind. They don't think about the near side nearly as much. And it's a lot harder to defend the near side underhook than the far side underhook. So if we start gearing our mind towards that and start working towards those near side underhooks, I think you're gonna have a lot more success. And today we looked at 3 options off of the near side underhook as far as passing goes, right? We have just a conventional 3/4 mount pass to mount. We have a wrong-sided knee cut to side control or mount. And then we have the skydiver pass, where you're playing a really awkward, almost seems unrealistic position that will find mount very smoothly if you do it right. And it puts, again, a lot of pressure on them. Like she was saying, I was trying to keep my pressure off her, but she was saying the pressure's too much. It's too much. Like, and I wasn't trying to. But if you're really laying on somebody, really driving your pressure in, they're going to struggle there, and they're going to think that they can get out. That's the best part about it, is there's this level of hope. And I tell my MMA fighters, I tell my students this all the time. Every now and then, I let someone build up. I let someone get to a position where they're like, oh, I'm escaping, I'm doing something good, and then I rip it out from under them. And that little bit of hope, and then crushing it, really messes with people's minds a lot worse than if they were just always in a bad spot, right? Give them a little light at the end of the tunnel, and then close it off, and then they're gonna be like, oh, this is terrible, right? So with that position, they think that they're gonna be able to move you, but they aren't, right? We're gonna find those mounts and those passes as long as you follow some of those rules and guidelines for the position. So I hope it helps. I hope it adds some offense to your passing scenarios and sequences, especially if you're doing MMA. Get that near side underhook, punch with that free side where they think they're doing good with their underhook, and we can really do some damage. Let me know how it goes. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to see anything in the future, throw it down in the comments. And make sure you join our team. Just click join, become a team member, join the squad. Let's get after it. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? Special teams, special players, special plays. Tuesday.
Tuesday. I love that guy.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?